Good to see you guys. Happy Tuesday. 2 days before Thanksgiving. 2 days. Are you ready? Oh, let me move my microphone. I bet that needs to be closer to me. Good morning, you guys. Good to see you. Jump on in. Jump on in. And if you are on the replay, which I know that a lot of people do different things during the holidays right now, everybody's schedule is a little different. Let me know that you're on the replay. Let me know where you're coming in from. It must be 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. If we are live, this is what we do. Oh, I was going to do an event on TikTok and I forgot. Okay, that's all right. I'll do that tomorrow. So every day we go live right here, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And Facebook, look at my husband made it so that I'm blurred in the background. What? I didn't even know I could do that. And we talk about insulin resistance. Good morning, Lisa. Good to see you. And I just want you to know that it is, it's something that I'm super passionate about. I'm super opinionated about. And mainly just because it has been like my entire life with my dad. And he passed away at 63 from type 2. But I feel like in my conversations with people, even like last night. So last night in the group, you guys, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And that's why I put that up there for you guys on TikTok, just so that you guys can see. Thank you. Good morning, Ruthie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So that you guys know how to get to the group. So right up there, you can get to the group. It's a Facebook blue button on there. Because last night, you guys, I interviewed Jenny Potter. Jenny Potter is the author of the book Self-Sabotage No More. And she now has a new book called Stuck No More. And I'm telling you, she gives such good nuggets. It's about a half an hour interview, so it's not super long, but it is enough for you to get really good nuggets for the holiday season. Like, you can navigate the holidays completely differently. And then the second thing is that insulin resistance is 100% reversible. And we're just not told this. We're not taught this. And it's very sad. So let's keep on. Oh, did you like that, Lisa? She says it was an amazing live last night. I'm so glad that you liked it. I just feel like I'm such a firm believer in my own experience, obviously, because right, your own experience, like really, it's solidified inside of you. But the truth is that you are able to then, like, nobody can take that from you. And so when Jenny talks about unprocessed emotions from like our childhood, etc., like, man, I'm telling you what, it gives you hope. It keeps you living in the realm of hope so that you feel like, oh, maybe I can stop being so mean to myself. Maybe I can stop beating myself up. How has that been working for you? How has that been like doing anything for you to like just beat yourself up, be unkind to yourself, and make your life miserable thinking that you're never going to accomplish anything anyway? Why bother trying? You just throw in the towel. It's Thanksgiving. I'll wake up in January and deal with it later. Good morning, Carol. Good to see you. Don't do that. You don't have to do that. That's why I'm talking so much right now about the brand newest customer who wants to make a change during the Christmas season. I have Amazon gift cards for you when you make purchases. You can always ask me about that. And then if you refer somebody to me that's a brand new customer, this is the Black Friday deal all the way through midnight and Black Friday, then you're going to get a referral Amazon card. But that's because then, you know what, you can take steps. So what do we talk about in our challenges? We do 5-day challenges every single month, and they are free. And those are so that you can get ingredient trade out ideas and recipes and pantry and fridge ideas, etc. Right? So what if you use your Amazon cards for like sweeteners, or maybe you go and you buy Jenny Potter's new book. And by the way, so those are just ideas that I have for people. A lot of stuff she said hit home with me. Oh, I'm so good, Lisa. I will tell her that. I will tell her. We've already been chatting this morning. Oh, good. Ruth says last night was amazing. She is just a beautiful human being. And, God gave her some strategies. And these strategies make it so that it doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be hard to overcome some of the things that maybe, come up from your childhood. It doesn't have to be hard to just kind of release and walk through to the other side of your unprocessed emotions. And I love this so much. This reminds me of, so a handful of years ago, the year that my husband lost his job, we actually started a house of prayer in a suburb of the cities. And we did it for 2 years. And a part of that was doing inner healing. And that inner healing process was very much around it's called sozo. It doesn't matter. Sozo is a Greek word that means saved, healed, and delivered. And it's connected into the New Testament. But the point being that no longer did this have to be this long, drawn out, arduous process, but that God would just come in and in a moment shift things. And I feel like this is so in alignment with that thought process of, what if we pause for just a second and we say, oh, this doesn't have to be the hardest thing that I ever did. Changing out my foods, becoming a granola person, even though I would have never, ever, that was never my goal. But now I can see that I am kind of like, like I just don't talk to people about it. I just take my bun off and keep eating because, people think you're weird, and that's okay. That's where we are in our society, whatever. But the truth is that what if it wasn't so hard? What if it actually was kind of easy? Good morning, Kristen. Good to see you. And that's what she talks about. And it's like, that was a part of the interview last night. Like, her counselor or whatever said, hey, Jenny, like, do you feel like healing is hard? Like, this is a hard process? And she goes, yeah. And she's like, well, then what does that mean for all of your clients? Like, oh, we're going to go through this horrible, hard, awful process. Oh, it's going to take forever. Well, nobody wants to, who's going to jump into that, right? So you watched the replay this morning, you loved it, and you got some new ideas. Yay, Donna. Yay. Thanks for saying that. I will so let her know this, you guys. In fact, I should screenshot a couple of these just because this will go away. So I have to smile and take a screenshot. We were laughing this morning because I took a screenshot of the live last night and I was posting it. And she said to me this morning, she goes, that's the most flattering screenshot anybody's ever taken of me mid-sentence. I said, well, it took a few because I always look really concerned. I'm like, really? Like I take screenshots of myself and I'm like, okay, that one doesn't work. Let's try another one. Okay, that one doesn't work. Let's try another one. So anyway, so I sent it to her and we were just kind of laughing about that. But I want to have that. I want to be able to send her the feedback because that's so good. Desiree, I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. Terry, good morning. How is everybody doing this Thanksgiving week here before we jump in? Is everybody feeling a little under control? I'm getting off of the live today and thank Jesus. Thank you, Lord, that I have flexibility in the way that I have income because I'm going to go to Costco this morning instead of tonight. Oh my gosh. So I told my husband, when I get done with my live, be ready. We're going to get in the car. We're running over to Costco. And then I have other things to tend to. So I'm like, okay, let's be speedy before everything gets so crazy over there. Thank you, Kirsten. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much. So, all right, that's where we are. If you are, good morning, 10 Love Shack. Good to see you. Very good to see you. If you're on the replay, let me know you're in on the replay. If, let's see here, the Black Friday special is very specifically for new customers, and then there will be a Cyber Monday giveaway. I'll give you the details later, but it might have to do with her new book, Stuck No More. But for Black Friday, new customers, you can reach out to me about that. Making things ahead for Thursday, company coming from out of town tomorrow. Really good. I'm brave to go there today, Donna. I know. But we're doing a brisket instead of a turkey. No turkey. I'm so not wanting a turkey. So I have to go and price out briskets and go grab one. So anyway, that's what we're doing. And so new customers through Friday midnight, gift cards from Amazon for purchases. And I can give you the details. Just reach out to me if you really are wanting to finally shift the way you're doing the holidays. Whether yesterday we talked about good, let's start with the trio. Better, let's do the trio and the gut reset protocol. And best, the trio, the gut reset protocol, and the fat burner thermogenic. I mean, I'm just telling you, that's a good streamlined way to think about things so that you don't have to be confused. No confusion. A confused mind does nothing. So we're not going to do that. Yeah, I know. Yum. I know. I'm excited. And the one thing that I will make for Thursday will be mashed potatoes. I will do loaded mashed potatoes day ahead and then put them in the crock pot and have them ready for Thanksgiving. And I do that once a year, make lots of potatoes. I saw the coolest tip. Leftover mashed potatoes. And again, I don't eat mashed potatoes, but for those who are doing them, all of their leftover mashed potatoes, they took a pot, and inside of the pot, just a clean pot, they put parchment paper on the bottom. They took their mashed potatoes and they stuck them in there, and they kind of made it to the size of the pot that they're going to use in the future, like maybe for a shepherd's pie. So maybe it could be a pie tin, but you're getting the shape of whatever you're going to put it back into later. You take that parchment paper and you lay it on a cookie sheet and you freeze it. So you're freezing a disc of mashed potatoes that are left over in the size of the pan that you want to use in the future, so that all you have to do is pull it out and it's that shape to go on top of, let's say, your leftovers. Now, I, again, don't eat mashed potatoes, but I thought that was brilliant. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so smart. You could do that with anything. You saw that too, Donna? I was like, oh my gosh, that is like, come on. Like, seriously, you guys, I'm almost 60 years old. I've raised 3 children. I homeschooled for 20 years. How do I not know this stuff? Like, how do people keep coming with all of these new tricks? I would have been in a really big pickle had I had TikTok when I was raising my kids. I would have been like, okay, everybody pull out your phone. We're doing school on TikTok today because all of the good ideas are there. I'm just like, that was brilliant. Anyway, okay, I digress. I thought that was really cool too. All right, so we're going to talk about belly fat today with insulin resistance, because I know that is it's a source of contention for pretty much everybody. And it's very, very frustrating that why do we gain all of the weight in our belly? Like, why? And it changes how we like feel about ourselves. It changes how we buy our clothing. It changes how, like, if it's because we're bloated, etc. Golly, you guys, especially around the holidays, you wonder if it would work for cauliflower mash. Why not? Why not? You can freeze cauliflower, like raced cauliflower anyway, right? So I would so try that. Anything that you're making. I thought that was brilliant. The only thing with cauliflower is that it can be so wet. So I don't know how that would how that would thaw, but I suppose. Anyway, so insulin's role in belly fat, like, let's just talk about it for a second, because again, it's hard to lose. Belly fat is hard to lose. It impacts us very much with our clothing, our health, kind of our emotions, etc. But it also really does affect our energy and whether or not we even have energy. And that is just, nobody wants to be exhausted right now. We actually want to be like awake to enjoy the festivities. And so insulin is a fat storing hormone. I feel like that is probably the number one thing that most women don't know. We've never been told that insulin is a fat storing hormone. And when it's consistently elevated due to insulin resistance or a diet high in sugar and refined carbs, the body signals fat storage, particularly in the abdominal area. Just kind of stinky, but it is. Kristen, thank you. Visceral fat, the dangerous fat that's around your organs, becomes resistant to insulin over time, making it harder to break down for energy. So that visceral fat, that's directly connected to the conversation about the thermogenic orange pixie stick. Okay, that's why that's such a big deal. I'm just going to tell you, I know a lot of you have already grabbed it, but that's why it's a big deal, because that visceral fat, it's not just that we want it to go away. It's not just that I wanted to narrow my hips, which I'm so grateful, because I thought that wasn't going to happen. You know, you just assume your body has changed forever in one direction and that there's no going back. But that particular visceral fat, which is the dangerous fat around your organs, so in your waist and in your hips, it's become so resistant to insulin over time that it literally makes it hard to break it down for energy. It's just the stinker fat. You know, like When you go to lose weight and the first place you lose weight are all the places that you didn't want to lose weight, that you didn't want to burn fat. You're like, why are you doing it there? Why? I told you where I wanted you to lose fat. I told you that we were working on the belly first. I don't understand why I have to wait until the end of the season of losing fat in order for it to happen in the places that I want it to happen. This happens all the time. But I feel like that is a point of self-sabotage, because what happens then is because we're not losing it where we want to lose it, and that's the only place that we're like seeing it through, like we're just so focused on this one little area of fat loss, and we're like, see, it's not working, whatever I'm doing, it's not working, that fat is not going down, this fat is not going down. But then maybe you're not noticing that it's being released off of your body in other areas. So look at the whole picture. It seems like when you lose weight, the stomach is the last place that goes. I know. And it's just really, it can be disheartening, disappointing even. But then also insulin is a hormone, but then there's cortisol. And so cortisol's role in belly fat. Chronic stress causes the release of cortisol, which can promote fat storage in the abdominal region. So stinky. Cortisol also raises your blood sugar, triggering more insulin and further increasing fat storage. So if you have a stressful job, if you have a stressful life right now, like you're taking care of a dementia parent, like a friend of mine right now, and if you live in North Dakota, I did do a post. Their granddaughter is, she's on a missing list for the last couple of days. Very stressful to have things like that happen in your life. Maybe you have a loved one in the hospital or something like that, and your cortisol is up. Well, that's increasing belly fat. And then once you have that visceral fat, this is why it's such an important conversation for your life, is because visceral fat is active. It's actually releasing hormones, and it's releasing inflammation into your body. And so you've got to get it to go away. This is why we end up over time having silent cancers. I don't know if I can say that word. Silent C words like pancreatic, right? Because it doesn't show up until all of a sudden it shows up, right? So we want to get that stuff moving, like go away a long time ago. Lisa says that's you. Oh, stressful life, Lisa. Is that what you mean? Yeah. And that is just, yeah. There's a lot of reasons why I have a lot of conversations with you guys in my inbox. So I know your stories. I know the different things, the different struggles that people go through, and it's just constantly raising that cortisol. Okay, so visceral fat is metabolically active. It's releasing inflammatory markers and hormones that perpetuate insulin resistance. Cycle much? Hamster wheel, that's what we're doing. It is disrupting your hormonal balance. Women, it's disrupting your hormonal balance, like estrogen and progesterone in women, slowing your fat loss even further. It's why we have to deal with it. It's why I talk about, so I don't know if you know this or not, if you're already taking the trio, this last little one is helping with visceral fat and your metabolism. That's why this little trio is so remarkable, because it's doing layers of things you don't even know it's doing for you. During the holidays, stress and indulgent foods high in sugar and carbs amplify this cycle. Good morning, Claudette. Good to see you. Good to see you. So how belly fat is impacting women like around the holidays, I think we kind of know this like instinctively for ourselves. Like you put cushions on your lap when you're taking pictures, or when you're talking to your family and you're sitting around and you're having fun at Christmas time. Maybe you've got that cushion on your lap, or maybe you're hiding behind your kids or your grandkids when you're taking pictures. And because you're just like, you're done. Or maybe you don't even want like pictures at all because you're just so frustrated with the way that your outfit fits you. Like you didn't get that, the new size pants or the new jacket or whatever it is. And you're frustrated because it's an increasing, issue with your belly. And so when your body composition changes, so does the clothing. And I know that I've gone through, and my friend knows this, I've gone through this whole season in my 50s trying to figure out what the heck is my body shape. I, I buy things and then I'm trying to piece them together and they're not working. And so finally I kind of went on a hunt to find out, oh, okay, this is my body shape. These are some of the clothes that I should be buying, etc., so that I can at least feel better, because I did not know how to make those pieces go away. Like, how do you get, okay, we're making progress on fat on the arms and on the inside of the knees and the back fat, but the belly fat, those types of thought processes. And you're like, what used to fit me and look good on me doesn't anymore because my composition has changed. So I don't know if you're in that same boat of composition changing, but then we have to then align the clothing that we're buying or purchasing. But it can just be such an emotional time right now during the holidays. But the truth is that I'm going to go back to Jenny Potter's interview last night in the group. And just for those of you popping on, she's the author of Self-Sabotage No More. And now her new book is Stuck No More. And she talked about how you can actually decide right now, you actually can decide that there will be an ease on your holidays, that there will be an ease on how you are affected by the holidays. And remember how you and we talk all the time about assessing how we're feeling. Going to a holiday event, a social event, you just got asked over to somebody's house and you know that they make the most amazing baked goods and that's your kryptonite and you're not sure how to navigate that yet, whatever. You go and maybe you you have more than you were intending and you come home, and if you'll just take a moment and say to yourself, like, just be by yourself in the bathroom for a few minutes and just be like, okay, you know what? No shame. No shame. I'm going to actually pause. And this is what Jenny was talking about last night. Assess, how did that make me feel? Okay, that made me feel guilty. I felt guilty that I did that. Where have I felt that before in my life? Where is that coming from? Why do I feel guilt over eating certain foods? And you go through an assessment process. And I'm telling you, it is the greatest gift that you can give yourself for the holidays, is to allow yourself the journey. And this is the journey that it ended up taking me 3 to 4 years. I was never, here it is. I didn't know about Jenny Pudge. This book hadn't been written yet. That's the book that we just went through in the group. And by the way, if you're in the group, Guide 6, they're all posted in Guide 6. This book hadn't been written yet. So I was doing this journey on my own. Live video like this didn't exist yet. I was doing this journey on my own, but I gave myself the gift of assessment. And you can do the exact same thing. And you can decide, I'm going to do this entire holiday season without shame. And I am going to pay attention. My job over the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks, is just going to be to pay attention. Where do I feel that in my body? Why am I feeling that? Where is that coming from? Where did that show up in my childhood before? That might sound like a lot, but it's not. It's just a reflection moment. And then you can move on and go to the next holiday gathering, go to the next party, go to the next whatever. Like, I'm telling you, you guys, it's such a gift to give yourself. And you don't have to tell anybody that you're doing anything. And just believe that there can be an ease on this process. And then guess what? We're going to go into January completely differently. We're going to have a completely different universe in January because you did that for yourself now. Thanksgiving, little holiday party, little gathering with your, maybe you're at work right now and you're just listening. Some of y'all are doing that. And there's going to be just food everywhere. And I like what she talked about. Good morning, Magda. Don't ever be sorry. You are totally fine. Been there, done that with photos and pillows. Yep. I know, right? Like, don't we all understand this? Like, seriously, we speak the same language, women. We all speak the same language. We all know. It doesn't matter, right? We all have so much more in common than we don't. But you actually can, what was it that she was saying? She was saying that there can be an ease on your holidays. Oh, hold on. There's a thought coming to me. Hold on. Choosing that ease and just releasing those emotions. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. But you can do things so differently. You didn't know really what she meant by where in the body did you feel those feels, or what she meant for sure. I kind of have an idea. So she literally means like, because if you are zoning in on your where you actually feel something, like, so for instance, she was talking about how she had migraines for 10 years. 10 years. And so she was obviously feeling it in her head, right? And so she was in her head. It was in her head, and that's where she felt it inside of her body. Now somebody might go, you might just leave that place and you get home and you're like, oh God, I'm being hard on myself. Like, I can't believe I did that. And you're kind of shaming yourself and you're kind of being mean to yourself and you're kind of feeling like, God, I did it again, or I feel so guilty that I went and I ate that food that I wasn't supposed to eat. And she said, if you'll pause and you'll ask yourself, where do I feel that in my body? She literally means you'll feel it maybe in the pit of your stomach. Maybe you'll feel it like in the back of your head. Maybe you'll feel it like in your heart, like in your chest. You're like, oh, you have this feeling. And that's where she's talking about. And then being able to literally like recognize and release an unprocessed emotion. You're like, where did that start in my life? Where does that come from? I highly recommend you going back and listening to that interview, because she's very good about explaining that. But again, the book is Self-Sabotage No More. I don't have a link for it or anything like that. I just feel like people would really benefit from it. It's not that you got the concept. Okay, good. It's not even a thick book, you guys. But anyway. All right. So let's see here. So different things that can help. And you know what? We talk about them all the time. And I know that there are new people that see my content a lot. But I do really have one conversation on insulin resistance, and it's just 500 hours long because insulin resistance is the core of everything that's going on in our bodies, seemingly. And the more that I have studied over the years, the more that I realize that, oh my gosh, like, how can this possibly be that when we go to the matrix and we go to providers, they just keep siloing our conversation. Like, you need to go to this doctor for this, and this doctor for this, and this doctor for this, and this doctor for this. And each one will give you a different script. And that is a model that does not work for me. That's why we talk about holistic thought process. We talk about, some of you have been to a functional medicine doctor or something like that, where you want a more integrated approach. Like, come on. These are not individual issues. These are actually pieces where they're all bumping on each other. Like, this is more bumper cars than it is individual. And we have to, once we can understand that, you guys, it's almost like the veil gets taken off. If you can see everything through the lens of insulin resistance, you will change your understanding of why things are happening in your body. So for instance, insulin resistance is the very foundation of everything else. And on top of the platform is, PCOS and gout and type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure and heart disease and like everything, belly fat, inflammation, aching in your body, not feeling good. You're exhausted. You're not sleeping well at night. You're irritable. You're moody. All of your other hormones are out of balance. Maybe your sex life has diminished. Like, I could go on and on and on. Like, the effects are so widespread. The effects are so large and impacting on our lives that it's shocking. It is shocking that nobody is talking about this with us when we go to a provider. How is this possible? How is this possible that we live in 2024 for me, the United States of America, with supposedly this amazing healthcare system? I've told that story before about I live in Minnesota, land of the Mayo Clinic. Shouldn't it be amazing? And then 6 years ago, when my mother ended up in a facility with dementia, and my brother ended up in facilities, plural, many, 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 for 2 straight years, I was very taken aback at how bad the healthcare system was. I was very shocked. And it made it so that it confirmed things that I was already believing about this conversation, because you guys were sending me DMs. You were messaging me with like, I can't believe that my doctor said, oh, you have a fatty liver. So do I. Doesn't everybody? Ha, ha, ha. And I'm thinking, is that really happening in America? How is this happening? And so you would tell me your stories, and I'm like, how is this possible? Now I think I understand a little bit more. The system was set up to be siloed. Do you guys know what silos are? Like on a farm, you see the silo and it holds grain, meaning like you go to a doctor for one issue, and then they say, oh, then you need to go to another specialist and another specialist and another specialist. And they've got you just chasing your tail. And then nobody's talking to each other. Well, I saw that firsthand with my brother. Like, I saw departments not talking to each other. I saw floors of hospitals not talking to each other. I saw facilities not talking to each other. Like, I didn't understand, why don't his records transfer so that you know he had a left stroke on the left side? Why are you tying down his left arm? Like, I was just literally like, for 2 years, I walked around like this. I was just shocked. And we would get around as a family. He passed away right at the beginning of the pandemic. Not because of any sickness like that. But he, which probably was really good for him, because he would not have fared very well in the facilities. They would have killed him for sure. Right. But he passed away, and we had spent 2 years as a family advocating for him everywhere he went, because he was a vulnerable adult. He had had a stroke on the table after a heart attack. He had had quadruple bypass surgery, and he had a stroke, so he was vulnerable. So he was not the same, right? So we're running around advocating for him and going, what the heck, what the heck, what the heck, what the heck, what the heck? And we did that for 2 straight years. So I say that only so that you understand that you're not crazy. It took me a long time to realize that I'm not crazy. Like, this really is happening. And so that's why I always say, you guys, the best news ever is that this is not a terminal diagnosis. You actually can take control of your own body. You actually can take control of your own direction with your insulin resistance, so that you can like reverse things and get them like going away out of your life, and you don't have to deal with them anymore in that same realm. Like, this is reversible. This is a really big deal. Good morning, Judy. You'd love to know more on the weight loss? Absolutely, Judy. Let me get into that then. So again, we've been talking now. I mean, we go live here every day, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, unless it's a holiday or I'm traveling. And we talk about insulin resistance and how to reverse that, because you cannot lose weight if your insulin or your sugars are high. You just can't. Now, the problem is that they're only ever checking your sugars right here. They're only doing testing for your sugars, and then they're telling you your labs are fine, but you know something's not okay, because you cannot lose 1 pound, and you're so frustrated. And remember yesterday I brought up the video of the she's a doctor or something, I don't know what she is, and she's doing that video of where they lean over the casket and they whisper to the dead person. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, it's going to be a joke or something, and she goes, FYI, your labs look great. And here she's talking into the, I made fireworks on Instagram. And that's what it is, because we keep going and they keep saying your labs are fine. But your sugars, long before your sugars stay high, your insulin has been rising. This is a hormone. Your pancreas keeps on releasing insulin. So you're like high insulin, high inflammation, and then finally your sugars catch up. They should have been testing your insulin a long time ago, but they don't. So what's happening then is when your insulin is high, you cannot lose fat. You have to get your insulin down. You got to get your insulin down, and you got to bring your sugars down. You need both because you want the results of both. That's how you can finally lose weight. So when I started, I'll tell you my progression, and then you can decide if you're looking for good, better, or best for yourself. So when I started with supplementation, not a supplementer, didn't know anything about it. And I started with the trio. These are the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And I was able to go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive with 3 supplements. This is a little over 10 years ago. It's why I put this picture here on TikTok, because then you can see exactly where I was and then exactly where I am right now. And this helped me lose 3 sizes in my 50s after my cycle stopped. It's such an important conversation, because if you're beating the wall, if you're just beating your head against a wall going, I'm just going to keep on counting points. It's not working, but I'm just going to keep on counting, or I can lose, but then I gain and then I lose. Because the lens is not insulin resistance. You're not looking at it through the lens of insulin resistance. And if you're insulin resistant, you have to deal with the insulin. You have to deal with the sugars. I hope that helps to make sense. So this is good. This is very good. Taking the trio, you take this one 3 times a day, and these other 2 are twice a day. And why do these matter? Well, because there are trace minerals that can help you. So for instance, one of the trace minerals helps to regulate blood sugar and reduce cravings by improving insulin sensitivity. Ding, 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 ding. That's what you want. The other trace mineral mimics insulin's effect on cells. So we're talking about a cellular level of help. Thank you. Oh, you sent me a gobble gobble, and I didn't see the gobble gobble, but I saw the heart. Thank you, Kristen. You're amazing. Thank you. I love that. You guys are so good to me. Cellular level. Say it with me. Cellular level. You want cellular help. Okay. The reason why I bring that up is because injections are knocking on the door of your pancreas and telling your pancreas to release more insulin. How long can that work on your pancreas? How does your pancreas have unlimited life, unlimited energy, unlimited ability to keep releasing insulin? The answer is no. So instead of knocking on the door of your pancreas, let's get deeper. Cellular. Okay. Then if you knew that your I should have worn my Love Your Liver t-shirt, that your liver helps you to metabolize fat. You want to help your liver, and you want to help your metabolism and your visceral belly fat. Okay. That's what the trio is. I didn't know that it was going to work. I didn't understand why. I didn't know anything. When I'm talking to you now and I can trace minerals and blah, 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 cellular level. I didn't know any of that, but I reverse engineered. Why is this working in my body? Okay. So that's a good start for everybody. And especially if you're a new customer, it's a really good start. Better would be to add in the gut primer. Where's my probiotic? Gut primer and a probiotic. Now, what a gut primer does is it completely changes the way that your gut is functioning. And the reason why that is so important, so a lot of you are doing the trio plus the gut reset protocol, because once you can start losing weight, the whole problem with insulin resistance is that it creates leaky gut. That's one of the problems. And now you're leaching nutrients, and you don't want to be leaching nutrients because now you're exhausted. You don't feel good. Maybe you have constipation, indigestion. Maybe your gut is just messed up with basic digestive frustrations. Well, again, if you have all of this inflammation in your gut, losing weight is really hard. Keeping that impacted waste moving is like, it's almost a hack, because you want that bloating to go down so that you can feel better about even how your jeans are fitting or whatever. But it's even more than it's your liver health. It's your oral health. It's alkaline spices that go into your body. And a primer is completely different than a greens product. Looks like a greens product. I get it, but it's not. It's 6 separate blends. And if you want a higher level of understanding of everything that I'm talking about, let me know, because on Wednesday night, December 18th, We have an expert coming into the Minneapolis area talking about all of this at a higher level. I heard him speak in June. Phenomenal. And I can get you a Zoom link for that. You can be on my VIP list. And then you add a probiotic into it. And the reason why they don't put the probiotic in there is because, you guys, this is the thing. These are the things you don't know about probiotics. They are sensitive. They are compromisable. They're active and you don't want to kill them. So don't be zhuzhing them with a frother, etc. So the gut primer and a probiotic. And then best would be if you did the trio, the gut reset protocol, and then this is the orange pixie stick. And this is something that it took me a while to promote this, but this is helping a ton with, it says it on the site. Your waist and your hip fat goes down. And I would say that is 100% true. I needed it to be tested on sugars to know that it was going to work, or that it was going to be okay for you guys, and it is. But the testimonies, you guys, I'm just telling you, the testimonies, I know that there are so many of you that have tried so many different programs. You've tried so many different pieces to your puzzle, and you just don't know what track you want to actually run on to get results. And everybody has to choose their own track. But my best offer to anybody is to, hey, Sue, good to see you. The best track is, in my opinion, opening up the hood of your engine. I don't want to give you any, there's no magic. There's no jazz hands. There's no fireworks, although I think I can make fireworks happen on Instagram. But there's no fireworks. There's no nothing. Literally, what's going on underneath, we all seem to have this understanding of visceral fat and that it's not good. Maybe it's because we know somebody who has had the C word. And we went, oh, that is kind of an issue. Or maybe we know somebody who has fatty liver. Maybe it's you. And you're like, I know this isn't good. I know this isn't good. I don't really quite know where we're going with this, but I know that's not good. And side note, 50 years ago, the only people with fatty liver were alcoholics. And now it's not only rampant in our country, but it is in our children. So the magic pill that I was taking in my 30s to lose weight was basically speed. It was Metabolife that you can get at Walmart. It's banned now because it's a Fedra. But you're taking speed to speed up your metabolism in order to like control your appetite and to like make it so that you eat less and blah, blah, blah. That is such an archaic thought process. And that does not benefit you. The person that you are going to be 5 years from now does not look back on you taking speed. And I'm not even saying because they don't sell that anymore. Taking a magic pill of any kind, thinking that that's a good idea. No, you 5 years from now is so happy that you said, I'm lifting up the engine. I'm lifting up the hood of my engine. I'm going to go into my cells. I'm going to go into my organs, and I'm going to do this from the inside out. And I'm going to work on that visceral belly fat, that fat around my hips and my waist that is metabolically active and releasing inflammation. And see, apparently I don't know how to be stable. Steady Eddie. I'm going to go work from the inside out so that not only am I losing weight, not only am I burning fat, but I'm not doing it at the cost of losing muscle, and I'm not doing it at the just on a surface level of something. Because you can't take the injection forever. That's not sustainable. I get so tired of people saying that eating a whole food keto diet is not sustainable. BS, so sustainable. And it's enjoyable. Even more so, it's enjoyable. What's not sustainable is taking injections and knocking on the door of your pancreas forever. That has a short lifespan. What's not sustainable is living the way that my dad was living and died at 63 because dialysis was making him puke. every day that he went for a dialysis session. That wasn't sustainable. And the reason why I know that wasn't sustainable is because 36 hours before he had a heart attack and died, he was throwing up in his bathroom after a dialysis session saying, this is no way to live. I can't live like this. And he literally gave up. He wasn't in the hospital. He wasn't on hospice. He wasn't in a nursing home. He was 63 years old, still running his businesses probably in Minneapolis. And his body just finally said, I am done, and tapped out. Because insulin resistance gone that far is that hard on your body. We are talking about heart disease and high blood pressure and everything else that is so wrong with our labs. And the basis that they're not talking to you about, in my opinion, because I'm not a doctor, is insulin resistance. So let's take care of the whole engine. Let's do that. Magda, in the healthcare system, we are not a person. We are an ICD code for billing. Oh, it's so true. That's all they care about. That's why we can't get any good answers from the physicians. We have to be our own advocates. Thank you for saying that, Magda. Good morning, Barb. Magda, you're true. You're right. And that was a part of the whole, remember, like a month ago or so, maybe it's 2 now, they did that nutrition roundtable, and they had Jillian Michaels, who's that fitness guru. And they had Dr. Casey Means, who is the surgeon. You missed the first part. You use these products, but it has a diet to, you use the products. Is there a diet to follow? Yes. Do you use them from me? Do I know who you are? I would love to know. Yeah, and yes, I'll talk to you about that here for sure. Like, because I have a lot of free content that can help people navigate this with food for sure. It's such an important piece of the puzzle. But Dr. Casey Means, who's the Stanford surgeon, who basically got her surgeon degree and said, I'm not going to do this. I need to know why this is happening. Oh, that's wonderful. Good for you. Ugh, so good. Yes, let me explain this to you here in just a second. She basically said, I have got to know why I'm cutting into people. Why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? And in that conversation, it was either her or it was an endocrinologist, somebody. He was a surgeon too. I don't remember. But anyway, basically she said, we basically are taught, we're not taught anything about supplementation. We're not taught anything about nutrition. We're taught how to code, bill, and cut. Code, bill, and cut. Because if we can find a code for you, we can bill the money and then we can cut into you and get paid. Like that was the life. And so what Magda is saying is 100% true. It is 100% true. So for that question about diet. So when I started with the supplements. Okay. I started with the trio, the 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity. And then I did my ingredients. Now, not everybody has to do it that way, right? But I'm Italian and I didn't think that I could trade out my foods. And so trading out foods was a really big deal. So basically, I now teach a whole food keto diet. And the reason why is this. It's not because it's a fad and it's not because it's the latest anything. It's because when you are constantly eating food that raises your sugars and calling on more insulin, you're just keeping the cycle going and you're keeping your body in a mode of using sugar for fuel. That's actually your body's preferred way of fueling itself. So you eat food and it either rises sugar a little bit or a lot of it. Okay. So a little bit, you have an egg in the morning. Like there's little to no carbs at all in an egg. So basically your sugar goes up just a tiny bit like this, right? Then if you go and you eat something that is all of those mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving and pie, and it goes way high, well, that determines how much insulin your pancreas is going to release. So it's either going to release just a little bit to grab that egg for energy, that egg that turned into glucose for energy into your cell. It's like a delivery truck, or that delivery truck is going to really go after all of that sugar from the mashed potatoes and the pie and take a bigger load a much bigger load of sugar into your cell. But what happens is when your cell is resistant and it says, I'm done, then what happens is you don't get the energy into your cell. So now you're exhausted. But number two, all of that excess glucose is turning into fat in your body. So you have to change what got you into the pickle to begin with. You have to change it. If you do not stop eating foods that are spiking your sugars all the time and calling on more insulin, you're just going to say, I'm a hamster wheel person and I'm good with it. Because you're just going to do this. You're going to go round and round and round and round on your hamster wheel because you will never, ever, ever, ever get your body into fat burning mode. It won't happen. And insulin is a fat storing hormone. And your liver is a fat metabolizing organ. And the visceral fat is active and it's releasing inflammation and hormones. So I hope that you can see how this is a much bigger picture of facets like of a diamond coming together. These are facets. That's why we talk about the trio, 3 separate facets in this alone. We talk about the gut reset protocol, like 6 or more different facets in this alone, in this thought process. And then the thermogenic, which is actually helping to break down the stubborn, stupid fat around your waist and your hips. That's why we talk about this in a few layers to help you deal with the different parts of your engine. Your engine isn't one part. You have many parts. They are together. They are not siloed like the Matrix wants you to think. You have to change the way you're viewing everything. And I know that it can be hard, but they have you going to a doctor for every symptom, or they're giving you a script for every symptom, and it's not integrated. This is an integrated natural thought process, and food is a big piece of it. So in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, we do a free challenge every month. Next Monday, we're starting our next 5-day challenge. It's our 19th one. It's our 19th challenge. That is so exciting because we'll do ingredient trade outs and we'll do recipes and we'll do things like that so that you can change your food, but still be a foodie. Still love the food that you want to eat. Does that make sense? You're welcome. Should you not eat prior? Yes. Yes. Thank you for saying it that way. Keto is very misrepresented. And so a lot of times people think it's high fat, moderate protein. It's the opposite. The keto that I teach is high protein, moderate, good fat, because high fat keto was developed for epilepsy, not for weight loss. And there's a big difference. So yes, protein. And we talk about that in the challenge a lot. So it will be interesting to see how the GLP-1 long-term effects will be on the quality of life, Linda says. Yeah, it's concerning to me. And that's why I feel so confident and I'm very bold with my conversation, because there is nothing to lose. In my opinion, there is nothing to lose by taking a holistic approach, a natural way, a natural O, because this will actually, inside of the trio, you are getting help with your sugar cravings and your appetite control. Isn't that what people want? I want that food noise to go away. Everybody talks about the food noise going away. Everybody says that their appetite is less. Okay, here's a natural conversation, because there are actually herbs in there that'll do the same thing. Okay, but this is a way to do this without, what's my way to do this without spilling everything, without the fallout. Because what she's talking about is something I've been long concerned about. It keeps rolling. It's so funny. And that is losing muscle mass, because you don't want to just lose weight. You want to lose fat. Let's be really specific. You want to lose fat. Fat. Fat is harder to burn. You have to be very intentional. You have to do certain things. Visceral fat is stinky, and it's like probably literally because it releases hormones and inflammation. but it's harder to get rid of, but it is the fat that you want. You want the fat off of your organs. You want the fat off of your liver, your intestines, your pancreas, your all of that stuff. You want that to go away. And then you want the fat off of your back fat and your hip fat and your belly fat. And you want all of the fat. So let's have a fat loss conversation. Let's not just have a weight loss conversation, because you could be losing impacted waste, water, or muscle and say that you're losing weight and be happy about it. But long term, like Linda's saying, I wonder what the long term is going to be. I don't know. I don't know. I'm concerned. You know, I took care of my mama with dementia. The number one thing my mom needed to have was stability in her legs. Because if she could not walk or stand or toilet herself, even if it was with help, then we couldn't take care of her anymore because we didn't have the resources. And when you have dementia, like she did, you need to have your muscles. I'm not willing to sacrifice my muscles now because I want to be a different size, but I am willing to invest resources into lifting up the hood of my engine and dealing with my engine and like changing the oil and putting in my power steering fluid and like cleaning up the splash of everything that's going on, you know, in my internal organs. I am willing to do that. And now I've lost 3 sizes. And then when I started the thermogenic fat burner, that made a huge difference. And it's continuing. It's not done yet. I'm not done. And so it's been 3 months. So, because I started in August, so then to September and October and November. So it's been 3 months. Really good results with that. So if anybody has questions, let me know. Always, 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 always. Good, better, best. Good is the trio, better is the trio and the gut reset protocol, and best is the trio gut reset protocol and the thermogenic. Okay. And I will put together a cart that has exactly what you want in it at any given time. Okay. So you just ask me for a cart. Now, if you're on live TikTok or Instagram, it'll go away when we're done talking. So you have to get into my inbox. You got to get into my messages. And Facebook, easy. You can always put a message on Facebook, or you can get into my messenger. But you can navigate your holidays completely differently, you guys. You can set yourself up for January completely different. And you don't have to have the same results this year that you had last year. Begin this year layering your efforts. Doesn't have to be perfect. Holiday season 2024. I think it took me about 3 holiday seasons before I realized I'm getting better at this. Better and better and better. I'm like recognizing my triggers. I'm asking myself questions like, why does that make me feel that way? And then I'm shifting things and I'm choosing different recipes and I'm learning new, how to buy different ingredients. And all of a sudden I realized, so this has nothing to do with willpower. This has nothing to do with willpower. Okay. This has nothing to do with you being mean to yourself because you're not capable or able. This has everything to do with your own journey, trading out an ingredient here, trading out a recipe there, layering your efforts year after year so that you get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And then this is exactly what I was going to remember, and I'm remembering it right now. At the end of the day, Jenny said, before you go to bed at night, and I want you to start practicing this, and then I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. When you go to bed at night, remind yourself of all of the good things that you did for the day. Remind yourself, congratulate yourself, be proud of yourself for the things that you did do right, and stop thinking about all the things that you did, quote unquote, wrong or not up to your standard of what you wanted the day to look like. And then go to sleep congratulating yourselves for the steps that you did take. I'm glad I remembered that because that was a powerful moment in that interview where she was saying you have to congratulate yourself. You have to be proud of yourself and you have to celebrate your wins. Can you do that today? Can you celebrate your wins today? Because if you can get that muscle, the celebrating of yourself, that muscle going, it's a lovely idea. It is such a lovely idea. Yep. It's really important because then you go to bed with happiness inside of you, being proud of yourself inside of you. You're going to get much better sleep, but then you wake up differently too. And then you go for another day, and then you go for another day. That's why I'm so committed to every day we're here, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Every month in the group, we do a free challenge. All of my content is free. I know that the greatest connection with having, it's like, I always tell, women, like, I want more women on my team that can share my content and do that, because then you can also have the ease of, in that conversation, that's about an extra stream of income. But my point being that I can absolutely help somebody navigate their journey and give them a different track to run on, completely different than a program that's $1,200 a month with processed foods, or only an injection, and then there's no encouragement or help or support into actually teaching you how to fish so that you can do something completely differently. So it's really important to me. Okay. All right. You guys have like the best day ever. And I'm going to go to Costco so everybody can pray for me. It's going to be fine. It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be just fine. Right. Right. So I'm going to go pick up a brisket and we're going to get moving. And then I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you're not in the group, jump into the group. It's called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And if you're on TikTok, I put this up here so that you guys can see what it looks like when you go to my profile so that you can get in. There's a Facebook blue button. See you tomorrow, Terry. Have the best day ever. Stick to the list. That's your advice. Really, I have to stick to my list. Oh, okay, fine. I will try very, very hard. We'll see how that works.